Okay, this is a very short teaching, and yet this is like the foundation for all teachings of the Buddha, whether the teachings that you find in the Pali canons or in the Sanskrit canons, and they're followed by Theravada Buddhist practitioners, Chinese Buddhist practitioners, and Tibetan Buddhist practitioners. All use this the teaching. So, with this in mind, and the background has it. I'm going to read it quickly. The Noble Mahayana Sutra, dependent on rising. Homage to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas. Thus did I hear at one time. So when it said, thus did I hear at one time, this is indicating the authenticity of the teaching. That is not that I'm fabricating this teaching or I'm just speculating something happened at the time of the Buddha. Instead, this is what I've heard. And it's indicating the authenticity of the teaching. The Blessed One, referring to the Buddha was in the realm of the 33 gods. This is the one of the god realms, referred to as the 33 gods. And where the king of the god and goddesses is the King Indra. And on the Indra seat, the Indra invited the Buddha to sit on his seat. With him, they were great hearers, Shravakas, such as the Venerable Ashvajit, and the Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, such as Noble Arya Maitreya, Noble Arya Avalokiteshvara, and Arya Vajrapani, who are adorned with the immeasurable precious qualities. So this is the background, the scenario created, as well as various gods such as the great Brahma, who is the Lord of the Saha world, Narayana, the great Ishvara, Sakara, who is the chief of the gods, and Panchasika, who is the king of the Gandharvas. And Gandharvas is also referred to, the Gandha is the smell eaters. Smell eaters, these are in the form of the spirits. And this spirit is very distinct spirit. In fact, it is said that in the Tibetan tradition, say we don't keep so usually these containers, say you have the mugs, cups, containers, we don't keep it open, we always keep them covered, saying that if you keep it open, the Gandharvas, they just instantly create the cities there. They create cities and they instantly create it. It's not like it takes like months, years to build a house and create the city. It's just instantly the city is created, and then when you move the utensils and so forth, instantly the city is damaged. So this is where the compassion, element of compassion, is great emphasis in Tibetan Buddhism. So therefore, out of compassion, it is advised not to, they keep these things there. In fact, these are very strange phenomena, the strange beings who actually existed in this universe. At one time, it was in Dharamsala, the Institute of Buddhist Dialectics. My teacher, Venerable the Geshe Lobsang Gyaltsen Rinpoche, who was also the principal of the institute. What happened was that many of you know the place, the Sara College. Many of you know that. And when the land was first bought, and then the consecration was being done, then my teacher at one point, he was sharing this with all his students during one of the puja performance. He said that the Gandharvas actually is very strange. When he was consecrating, when he with his senior students were consecrating the land he just turned to the left side. And left side, actually, he knew that there was nothing really there, no villages there. He turned his head just casually to the left side, and he saw the whole village, the huge village, so many huts there. He was confused that there should be no village around this land, but with this direction. And he looked at it again, and he saw the same thing. Again, the huge village there, so many the huts there. And later on, of course, there's no village there. And then my teacher said that this is what is known as the Gandharvas. Gandharvas, the smell eaters. These are beings who create their cities, towns instantly, and can be damaged also instantly. And one of the unique aspects of unique the qualities of the Gandharvas is that they are so expert in music. And in fact, there was the one anecdote that the human man the met with the Gandharva female, and the Gandharva, the lady, disguised and came in the guise of a human lady, and two of them got married, and the son was born. And then later on, the husband came to know that the wife was not really a human being, and then the wife had to run away with her own real form. But the mother was always the feeling having the feeling of missing her son. One day in a public gathering, she again came in the guise of a human lady, and then again in some other forms, and he was inquiring about her. She was inquiring about her son, and finally she met with somebody who knew her son, and then she gave the musical instrument to the person and said that please give this to my son and tell him not to lose this, and this will make sure that you will have a very successful life. You can earn your living on the basis of this musical instrument. And this boy, after getting this gift from the mother, he started to play this, and yes, of course, the Gandharvas, they were so expert in the music, and this musical instrument is so unique that he played with this, and that everybody was enchanted by his music, and then he just survived, lived his life, lived the earning on the basis of this playing the music with this musical instrument. So this was the way and manner in which the Gandharva mother helped the son for his living. So Gandharvas, they were said to be so good in music. Okay, so this is a little bit digression about the Panchasika, who is the king of the Gandharvas. Okay. Next, on that occasion, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, so that is in the God realm. In the God realm, 37 God, the 33 God realm. So there, and the Buddha was presiding over the congregation, and then on that occasion, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, Avalokiteshvara. By the way, this sutra is on page 61. 61. Okay, those offline, page 61. Page 61, and we are on the paragraph on that occasion. Second paragraph. Okay. On that occasion, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, Avalokiteshvara, rose from his seat. So that is in the God realm. And the Avalokiteshvara was also there. And then he rose from his seat, and having draped his upper robe over one shoulder, knelt down with his right knee on the peak of Mount Meru, his palms pressed together. He then bowed toward the Blessed One, the Buddha, and addressed these words to Buddha. Blessed One, the Buddha. These gods, all these gods, they came to have the audience of the Buddha. Blessed One, these gods all really wish to build a stupa. Now that they are present in this entourage, in the entourage of the Buddha, please teach them the Dharma in such a way so that they merit to Brahma. So while the Avalokiteshvara was addressing the Buddha Shakyamuni on behalf of all the gods there, but keep in mind that this also for us on her behalf. On her behalf, this Avalokiteshvara was requesting the Buddha to give the teaching. So this is not just for these gods, for us also. In such a way so that the merit of Brahma will increase. and the merit of the monks, nuns, laymen and laywomen will increase. The merit of Brahma, what is meant by the merit of Brahma? Brahma is considered as one of the gods of the form realm. And to take birth there, you require a lot of merit. So it does not mean that you accumulate so much merit that you will take birth in Brahma. Taking birth as a Brahma is a very auspicious thing. This is not the connotation. Brahma, there are several kinds of Brahma. One known as the Great Brahma. So taking birth in the Brahma realm, in a way, it is considered as a little scary, because that and the law of karma, you don't really see the law of karma. Okay, keeping this aside, but to actually take birth there requires a lot of merit, and the merit equal to the merit to take birth in Brahma, which means enormous of the merit will increase, and the merit of the monks, nuns, laymen and laywomen will increase much more than that of all types of beings in the world of gods, Maras, Brahma, including renunciants and the Brahmins. So how to build a stupa so that your merit will be multiplied enormous the number of times. At this, the Blessed One, the Buddha, spoke the verses of dependent arising. So this verse, which we, the Tibet House, not in the master's course and not in the diploma course, for all the classes and for all these programs, we recite this mantra every time. So this mantra is so precious, and this is what the Buddha actually taught by himself. And if you know this meaning well, and wherever you travel, be on an aeroplane, from the aeroplane you can see that millions of people are covered under you. You can see the whole city there, and under the sea, under the ocean, all trillions of creatures are there. In the wilderness, again, the trillions of creatures are there. Just recite this mantra for them. So that will be enormous, the accumulation merit for you, and your sharing of your Dharma of the Buddha for all these beings. So this is your compassion grows, and the beings will be connected with the Dharma. This is so precious. Okay, so to know this, there are two things to keep in mind. That is that the whole teaching of this is grounded on, cultivating the wisdom. And the wisdom, while there are so many kinds of wisdom, there are two wisdoms which are being dealt here with. One is the wisdom, in both cases, is the wisdom of dependent origination. Wisdom of dependent origin, because this sutra is known as the Noble Mahayana Sutra, dependent arising or dependent origination. So the wisdom is to counteract the ignorance, and the ignorance where we see that there are two kinds of ignorance. One is the ignorance which misconceives the law of cause and effect, law of karma. The other, the ignorance which misconceives the ultimate reality. So there are these two kinds of ignorance, and this mantra, knowing the meaning, we are expected to cultivate these two wisdoms to counteract the two kinds of ignorance. The first wisdom is wisdom to know the cause and effect relationship, to counteract the ignorance which misconceives the cause and effect, which disregard the law of karma. It says, Ye dharma hetu prabhava. Ye dharma, these phenomena, dharma phenomena, hetu, cause, prabhava, arise. These phenomena arise from causes, which means cause and effect is taught here. Cause and effect. Oftentimes, we end up in a problem because of not knowing the cause and effect. For example, you end up in a unknown place, and you are supposed to go to the house number 108, which is like to your right side, but then you don't know the place, so you go towards the left side. Left side, you will never get there. It may be very near, but then it may take like another 5, 6, 7 hours to find the place, because you don't know the cause and effect. By going in that direction, It is the opposite of the causes to take you closer towards the intended destination. Whereas if you know the place so well, then you will not go to the opposite. You'll go in the proper direction, which will take you very close to easily take you there to the desired goal, a desired destination. So, for us to know the cause and effect relationship, if I want this, if I want happiness, happiness never given rise to by, say, the non-virtuous karmas, like the three physical wrong actions or non-virtuous karmas: stealing, killing, sexual misconduct. So all these, they say people go for this in stealing, killing, corruption, and so forth, thinking that this will give you happiness. Actually, they destroy our happiness. Then the three verbal, say the slander, harsh words, idle gossip, and then the what? Slander, lying, harsh words, slander, and idle gossip. So these, when we engage in these, you feel happy. You feel that these are giving us happiness. Actually, they destroy us. For example, like slander, you try to create the division amongst the people who are close, and long run, you attract more enemies, and you suffer. And then harsh words, you use harsh words meant to make the other person listen to you. With the harsh words, the motivation from which this harsh word comes, it is not a nice motivation, it's an anger. With anger, the moment the other person feels your anger, the person will close, the receptivity is closed. The person will not listen to you. Whereas if you acknowledge the person's good qualities, the person will feel your good heart. The moment the other person feels your good heart, the person will be happy to listen to you. Then what's the purpose of you shouting? Shouting is to make the other person listen. The person really listens if you talk nicely, not shouting. So therefore, when you shout, you fail to know the cause-effect relationship. Shout will make the other person not listen to you, and actually you shout to make the other person listen to you. So therefore, this is where we fail to know the cause and effect relationship, and we now need to cultivate the wisdom to know the cause and effect relationship. What I want to accomplish, it must be accomplished by the conducive causes, not by the non-conducive causes. So this is the meaning of Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava. Hetum Tesham Tathagato Hyavatat. Hetum, plural form of the cause. Tesham, these causes. Okay. Now related to our miseries, these causes of the miseries, who identified these causes of the miseries? Tathagato, the Buddha. The Buddha identified these causes of the miseries. Hyavatat means taught. That Tathagata taught these causes of the miseries. Okay, so what causes? Contaminated karmas, then the afflictions, inappropriate tension, and self-grasping ignorance. These are the causes, say, our wrong actions, wrong thoughts in terms of afflictions. Then inappropriate attention, just seeing things as in the absolute form, not in relative terms. When you see things in relative terms, then you will not be excited. You will not go into extreme depression or extreme excitement when you see things in relative terms. So whereas when you see things as absolute, this is again a wrong way of seeing. These are the causes which give rise to our miseries. So this is what the Buddha taught. Now, is there a way out? Is there a way out? Answer is yes, there's a way out. How? Tesham chayo nirota. Say, chayo, whatever. Tesham, these. Whatever of these causes, nirota, cessation. The cessation of whatever of these causes of the miseries, evam. Evam is thus. Vati, again, taught or said. Mahashramana. Maha is the great. Shramana, the seer or the saint. The great seer or the great saint is taught by the great seer. Great seer referring to the enlightened beings, the Buddhas. Yes, Swaha. So when you say the Buddha, it is not confined to Buddha Shakyamuni. It is to all the Buddhas. When you become a Buddha, you will also say the same thing. Like the Buddha Buddha Kashyap. There are so many Buddhas of the past. Buddha Shakyamuni, his own, the previous Buddhas, the future Buddha, Buddha Maitreya. So all these great Buddhas, they taught how to stop the causes of these miseries. Evam vadi mahashramanaya swaha. Okay, so the English translation in Tibetan it is chönam tamje gulechum tegyu deshin shebesun gyulo goba kayimba tanson chimbe digesum. In English, all phenomena arise from causes. This is general phenomena, the composite phenomena. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. Now, more specifically, the causes of the miseries and causes of the happiness are taught by the Tathagata. Now, with the miseries which we dislike, which we shun, the cessation of the causes of these miseries as well is taught by the great seer. Okay, so from this mantra, we see that the Buddha was teaching us the two wisdoms. Wisdom to see the cause-effect relationship and the wisdom to see the ultimate reality. So, by seeing the ultimate wisdom, the ultimate reality, we will eradicate the ignorance which misconceives the ultimate reality. When you remove the ignorance which misconceives the ultimate reality, the root of the miseries to stop. Root of miseries to stop, the miseries automatically stops. For example, like the iceberg, let's say in the Arctic Circle or in the Antarctic Circle, Antarctica. Imagine that on the icebergs, the buildings are stacked. Buildings are built up. Now with the global warming, the icebergs, they melt. They melt. Once the icebergs, which is a foundation for all these buildings stacked on top, when the icebergs melts, what happens to the buildings? All the buildings will automatically crumble down. Likewise, when the root of miseries, the ignorance which misconceives the ultimate reality, when that ignorance is stopped, then all the miseries will crumble. Your miseries will all disappear. So, that is a wisdom to see the ultimate reality. The ultimate reality, so that your miseries will stop on the basis of understanding the wisdom of the interdependency of the cause and effect. Okay, so this is what it is, and now let's read further. Avalokiteshvara. It is like this. This dependent arising, Ye Dharma mantra, the whole core of the Ye Dharma mantra, the meaning of this mantra, this dependent arising is the Dharmakaya of all the Buddhas. Dharmakaya meaning that the foundation of all the Buddhas. One who sees dependent arising sees the Tathagata. Whosoever sees dependent arising will eventually manifest, actualize the state of the Tathagata oneself. You will actualize the Buddhahood. Avalokiteshvara. It is if a faithful son or a daughter of a noble family builds, okay, now look, building a stupa, builds in a remote place. When you speak about a stupa, we get a feeling that stupa means a big, huge stupa. It's not necessary. So nowadays, for example, when I go to Singapore, Malaysia, you find very beautiful small stupas. Very small stupas like this size, even tiny ones. You can get these. And then Buddha was even teaching us even simpler, even more easier way of building a stupa. Said Avalokiteshvara, if a faithful son or a daughter of the noble family builds in a remote place a stupa the size of a gooseberry fruit, what we call amla fruit, it's very tiny, like the size of this fruit. With the central pillar, we have the mantra inserted in the middle, with the central pillar the size of a tiny needle there, and wrapped around that, and then at the top is the parasol the size of a flower of the bagula tree, just a tiny flower. Anything which is very beautiful, like a piece of cloth, clean piece of cloth, as a parasol, as a sign of respect for this flower of bagula tree, and inserts this verse Ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tadagato hevata tesham chayo nirodha evam vadi ma shramanaswa. This mantra inserts this verse of dependent arising, which is the dharma dhatu. Dharma dhatu means the ultimate reality, ultimate expanse. If you do that, insert this, and then that becomes a stupa. That tiny thing becomes a stupa. It's not necessary that you should have a big stupa. If you can create big stupas, yes, of course. But even if you don't have any financial, say financially you are not strong, it doesn't matter. Still, you can build stupa, a very tiny container like a glass or anything, and then they say a tiny needle there. Around the needle, the mantra is inserted, and as a respect, just put a tiny the clean cloth on top of this as a parasol. That's stupa. And then they say this is the stupa of the Yedharma mantra, essence of dependent origination mantra. Okay. Inserts this verse of dependent arising, which is Dhammadhatu. He or she will generate the merit of Brahma. When such persons pass on from here and die, they will be reborn in the world of Brahma. World of Brahma meaning it's not necessary that you have to take birth in actually the realms of the Brahma, but if you want to take birth there, you can take birth there. You have enough merit to take birth there. But if you don't want to take birth there, you want to take birth as a human being, you can take birth as a human being with all the facilities intact, long life, beauty, and the conducive factors of dharma practice. All these things will be there. When they pass on from there and die, they will be reborn with fortunes equaling those of the gods of their pure abodes. Okay. Now, if this were to be the case, we're simply creating such the tiny the stupa with the essence of the dependent origin mantra inserted in it. And what a mention of, say, the real stupa, this symbolic stupa. The real stupa is your mind manifesting the meaning of this mantra. You become the stupa. Your mind think of the Yedharma mantra. How the think of the two wisdoms. The wisdom to know the cause and effect relationship, infallible cause and effect relationship. Wisdom to know the ultimate reality, that everything like a dream. If that happens within you, you become the stupa. This is the real meaning of the stupa. This is the ultimate stupa. Then if just even creating a symbol, a tiny stupa, symbolic stupa, you get this amount of merit. What I mentioned of us, if you can create your own stupa in the form of actually manifesting these two wisdoms within you, the meaning of this mantra within you in the form of the two wisdoms to dispel them, the two kinds of ignorance. So what I mentioned of the benefit that you accrue out of this. Okay. After the Blessed One had spoken these words, the hearers, the bodhisattvas, the whole assembly, and the universe of gods, humans, asuras and gandharvas, asuras meaning the demigods, and gandharvas rejoiced and praised his teaching. Okay. Colophon. This concludes the Noble Mahayana Sutra on dependent arising, translated and edited from the Sanskrit text to the Tibetan by the Indian scholar Surendra Bodhi and principal editor translator Venerable Ishi Sangde. And then in English, this translation of Tibetan English was undertaken by the Buddha Vachana Translation Group, Vena, Roll Sherman, and Casey Kemp with the aid of Tom Tillemans, under the supervision of Kempo Kunchok Temple, and completed under the patronage and supervision of 84,000, translating the words of the Buddha. Okay, yes, we're done.